And then they saw me in a bra, and that was it.
What's going on, Pearl Jam nerds? You're listening to Single Podcast Theory, and we are your hosts. I'm Brad Lyons, sitting here with...
I'm Brad Blazek.
Yeah, man, I guess I'm not actually sitting with you, because we're hundreds of miles away from each other. But...
well, let's not pull the curtain back too much.
But it feels like it, you
right,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm really good, actually. How are you?
Well, this is going to be week number 2 of our podcast, man.
Yes, it's really insane.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you too. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm very excited just looking at numbers and just, you know, everything that's going on right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of share in the excitement, like, so, you know, sorry to, you know, that we're going to repeat this conversation that we've already had, but I'd like to have it on the air. Just like, and I was like, man, if we could get like 50 downloads, you know, this first episodes or whatever, this first week, that'd be awesome. Dude, we're like, so right now, at the time of this recording is Wednesday, 2 days after our first day, you know, releasing the podcast. And we're at hundreds of downloads.
Dude, it's
just
incredible.
Through Apple and iTunes, you know?
Right.
We've gotten emails. I figured it'd be a month before we start getting emails.
Right.
You know?
I
mean, we're going to read some right now on the air. And I thought that we were going to get a bunch of, you know, people kind of digging on us, not in a good way. And it's going to happen. I totally understand that it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it hasn't happened in the first week.
No,
and
I mean, it's been
super awesome.
Nothing but positive feedback. It's really, you know, it's kind of scary to jump into something like this. And when you know that there's people that are 100 times as passionate as we are, and they might come down on us. But, I mean, every single person that's sent an email or a message or a reply on all the different platforms has been just totally positive. And it's really, you know, it's nice. It's, you know.
It is nice, and I want to continue to put out the vibe that we did on the first week, which is to restate that, yeah, we're not doing this because, like, I'm not doing this, and I can speak for you too, because I think I know more than anyone else about Pearl Jam, or that I'm the best fan or best kind of fan or whatever. It's just like, I'm a fan, and I want to talk to other people about it. I want to talk to you, Brad, about it. I want to hear other people's opinions about stuff, but it's all from a place of fun and enjoyment and love for the band, and it's a community, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So far the responses have all kind of fit into that paradigm. It's all been really cool, and like I said, the trolls are coming.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, I know they're coming. But you know, right off the top, we both, I think I speak for both of us, we want to thank everybody that has downloaded and checked it out. And, you know, if we haven't heard from you, that's cool too. You know, if you're enjoying it just on your own, that's great. But we do want to hear from anybody with any perspective.
Absolutely. Because that's the thing, man, is we're trying to figure this out. We've been live now, online now for 2 days as far as this recording goes. It'll come out Monday, but I mean, that's the other part of wanting to interact with people, and then we'll get off this topic, but is to like hear what you guys want to hear. I'm not saying we're going to do all of it, but you know, we want to hear what you think and ideas for the show or whatever, which we've already gotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we want you to be a part of us figuring out what this show really is and how it works.
Tell us how to do our job, please. Because we don't know what we're doing. We're just talking.
Yeah, well, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
You know? But going back to, I mean, we've got downloads from obviously the US, but Canada, UK, Australia, Ireland, Portugal, Sweden, Netherlands, Japan, Israel, Germany, Brazil. It's crazy. So keep
Yeah.
them coming, man.
To think
we
that
really appreciate you guys.
someone's listening to my voice overseas, you know,
That's kind of weird.
yeah, it's really weird, but it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
cool.
nervous
I mean,
now.
I've met people at shows from all over the country or all over the world, you know,
Sure.
and it's like I'm kind of fascinated with the fact that the farther country you go away from the U.S., that this band has a pull, you know, and it's just
Yeah, it's a good reminder of that.
and it's cool. I like talking to people from other countries. You know, I just have some weird fascination with people, you know, latching on to this American band, and they come here and they're as passionate, if not more, than I am.
Dude, well, and that's the thing too, that, you know, again, as a musician, I'm going to geek out about, like, I mean, that's the beauty of music, is that it transcends a specific language, or it's its own language. Like, you don't have to speak American English to be moved by Given to Fly.
Right.
I mean, you hear that roar into the chorus, and it's just like, it almost doesn't matter what he's saying. You know, it's great if you understand it and kind of dig into the lyrics or whatever, but I mean, their music as a band is just so kind of emotive and transcendent.
That's kind of a cool
makes sense.
perspective to, you know, because you and I, if we hear Eddie start singing, we know what he's saying. But to
Sure.
not know what he's saying and get into the band part of it, and then maybe Google the lyrics and
Right.
then see what he's saying, that's pretty cool. Just to understand the band playing and get into the words later.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we could go on about all that
Yeah.
stuff, but let's get to some emails, man.
Yeah,
I can't
let's
believe
do
it.
it.
We're already doing emails. So I'm going to start with our first new friend, the first person to email us. This is, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize about pronouncing names. Just going to get that out of the way. Kurt Segrist, I hope that's how you say it. He says, nice podcast. I don't know if you guys field ideas for topics, but since you're musicians and into recording, I've always wondered about the recording quality of No Code. If either of you have any insights or information about what they did differently in the studio for that album, that would be awesome to hear. There's a definite tone that comes through that's unique in comparison to their other albums. Maybe it's just Jack's drumming, but to overuse the term, there's a warmth there that I assume must have been intentional. If I ever meet Mike, I'm sure the only thing I'll be able to say is, what did you do to get that guitar tone on Red Mosquito? Thanks, and keep jamming, Kurt. Thank you so much, Kurt.
Yeah,
well,
very cool. Very
man.
first email within, was it 20? It had to be 24 hours. It was yesterday, right?
It was, man.
That's amazing. I think
Yeah.
we were talking earlier. I didn't think we'd get emails for weeks.
Sure.
So thank you, Kurt.
It's making the show a whole lot more fun already.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of address the question, because we did talk through email, a couple replies back and forth, and I told him that, you know, No Code was my favorite record, and ends up it's his favorite record too. But so we want to say we're obviously going to do a No Code episode, and I don't want to fully get into all this, but I will say that it's interesting to me too that the record sounds so different from its predecessors, as far as the ones done with Brendan O'Brien, who produced, you know, did a lot of engineering and also mixed Vitalogy versus and then No Code. But I think part of it is definitely Jack's drumming, bringing that in. I mean, that's such a different musical dynamic than Dave Abbruzzese. So that alone is going to change things. But the sound of the record, like Versus and Vitalogy, don't have a ton, especially Versus, don't have a ton of low end. I mean, it's not like an And Justice for All thing where it's like there's no bass, but it's just mixed with a lot. Those two records don't have a lot of bottom, whereas, like Kurt said, this record's a lot warmer as far as the mix, but it's the same person. So I don't know that. I love it. I mean, I can tell you that Brendan loves overhead mics on the drums. For those of you that, you know, have recorded or know anything about music, you know what that means. But It's not the close mics. It's if you look at a picture of a drum kit that's in a studio, there's always mics way up high over the kit that kind of capture the whole thing, not just specific drums. And he squashes those things in his mixes, which is where a lot of that bright cymbal stuff comes from. Anyway, so that's part of it. Jack's playing mixed with how Brendan mixes. But then there's the whole... That was a really shitty time for the band.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot.
They were coming off the
going on
Vitology
internally.
tour. What's that?
There was just a lot going on internally.
Yeah,
with
man.
them
I
at
mean, I believe this is the record where they were like 3 or 4 days into recording before Jeff found out that they were recording.
that. Right.
I mean, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Especially it's Jeff. It's like,
Right.
you know, him and Stone are the reasons why this band exists, you know? And how do you leave him, someone that critical to the band and the sound of the band, out? Like, you forget. And I guess somewhere I read that Mike said, what did he say? Because of how chaotic their relationships were at the time, that some of them just felt like it would be better if they weren't all playing in the same room. There's just a lot of contradictory information out there. I mean, because Mike also says about this record that it came out of a lot of jams, yet if you look at the songwriting credits, they all go to specific people. There's only 2 or 3 songs that are credited to more than 1 or 2 people. You know, like Who You Are, In My Tree. I think there's one more. I can't remember off the top of my head. But all that to say, there's going to be a lot to dig into when we do the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I can't wait to do that one, too. That's also my favorite album. So,
yep. Spoiler for the ranking episode. So thanks, Kurt. Keep the emails coming. Let's get through these real quick.
If I can make a correction really quick.
Sure.
I am not a professional musician. So it's kind of like, I mean, I dabbled in playing the drums in high school, but I never took lessons. And, you know, I think that's kind of a cool thing about what we're doing is that I am not a musician in any way and you are. So it's kind of like the professional and the just regular guy kind of mixing it up. So
it is, and I need you to feel free to stop me when I'm throwing out terms that I'm used to throwing out, assuming that the person knows what I mean.
Right.
Because there's probably a lot of that I don't even realize that I do.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next one is from Michael Redlin. He says, Brads, saw your post on Reddit earlier today. Great job with the first few episodes. I will definitely be a consistent listener. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely. I in no way want to impede your show, but if you ever need another guest to make an appearance that has a slightly different perspective on the band, I would love to join. I'm 27 and really got into the band only 6 years ago. So 2011. Wow. That's amazing. Unlike a lot of fans that were in high school or college, for what it's worth, I've also been helping some friends start up a podcast and just did a Guns N' Roses deep dive with them. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Both Brads are excited about that. And
I want to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of other friends. I mean, me and one of my good friends actually flew to Vegas to see Guns' first shows that were warm-up shows before they went and did Coachella. They did 2 nights in a row in Vegas. And
you went to that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, we got to talk about it sometime. I got a bunch of videos, and normally I don't do that at shows, and I only took a few, actually, but I just had to capture that because I didn't get to see them back in the day, and they were very influential in me wanting to make rock and roll. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It was cool, man. Yeah, we got to talk about it. My buddy is a solo artist, and his old manager is now one of Guns' managers and works with Duff and got us tickets. He was basically like, if you guys can get here, you've got free tickets, which even like shitty tickets were like $250.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
We had like VIP passes to go to this like area that had its own bar and bathrooms. It was crazy. We'll talk about it.
I smell bonus podcast?
Maybe, dude, we'll do a Guns bonus. Anyway, in addition to working for a radio station for a brief period of time, I also host a fantasy football podcast for our league, which may be the nerdiest thing anyone can do. I agree. He said, so there's my shitty resume. Let me know if you ever need an episode with a younger perspective on the band. Cheers, Mike. Mike, thanks so much for writing in. And that brings up a good point. Like, this is part of what we're going to figure out. I mean, Brad and I have talked about, we're trying to plan down the line. And we definitely want to have other people's perspectives. I already know a couple people that I think Brad and I haven't even talked about yet for future episodes. But we definitely, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Brad. Like, we want to, like, I'm super nervous for this episode because we actually got a lot of listens this last few days. And it's like, oh shit, people are actually listening. But, I think both of us want to get a little time under our belt and really kind of figure out the meat of this show before we start throwing in other voices. But that is something we want to do.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I'm pretty nervous right now, and I just want to get a few more of these, done and recorded and just more comfortable with it before we start trying to bring in, a third person. But that doesn't mean we're not going to do that. I want to talk to people, and if people will keep up with emails and replying on the various message boards and Twitters and all that stuff, we definitely can interact that way for now.
Absolutely. And this is the best way to do it, through all those social media platforms and email and all that, Reddit, the Pearl Jam forums. All right, so next one, it was actually a Twitter private message from Nick Roller, who I already know, I feel like I know, because he emails in for Metal Up Your Podcast a lot. And by the way, he just passed his bar exam, so he's a metalhead lawyer, which I think is kick-ass.
Yeah, dude, congrats.
So, congrats, man. That's not an easy task. But he wrote in saying, listening to the 10 episode now, so much I want to say. You guys are killing it. I actually love the original soaked in reverb sound. It's kind of like a capsule. It sets 10 apart from the discography. Still my fave PJ record. Every time I hear Once, I just want to go insane. 10 has a certain unbridled power that the band never hit again. Interesting. Metallica is definitely my favorite band, but Seattle was my favorite scene overall. I love the rich patchwork of side projects, intermingling of band members. Honestly, I wasn't super into Pearl Jam until a few years ago. I loved 10, but the main reason I heard it was because I loved Alice. I'm assuming he sings...
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, Alice in Chains. Let me see this. Make sure I'm reading that right. Named after my... named my son after Lane.
Right.
Was totally in the cult of Kurt, etc. They came through Minnesota on the Lightning Bolt tour, and I bought tickets purely based off 10 and their reputation as a live band. It truly was life-changing. So many hardcore PJ fans told us that night, this is your first time, you're going to be addicted. And man, they were right. Still the best show I've ever seen, bar none. Keep it up, dudes. Love what I'm hearing. Dude...
It's awesome.
Thank you so much. And that's, oh man, I kind of feel like I could do half an episode about this email.
Right.
And it means a lot coming from a Metal Up Your Podcast fan.
Definitely.
Interesting that he says that they never hit the unbridled power of 10 again.
Yeah, that's
interesting to me.
Right.
I'm not saying, it's a bad opinion or anything like that. Because I love it that all this is so subjective.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, God, just the next two records alone hit so much harder.
Right. Definitely.
You open with Go on Versus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can start a conversation with him online about... Nick, hit us up again, man.
Yeah.
Either on Twitter or at singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com.
And the whole reverb thing, I love the cleaned up version, and I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
Where it kind of dates the album.
But it was so important for that record at that time.
Yeah.
Because of the sea change, in the kind of the zeitgeist of music at the time, the Seattle thing, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice, Soundgarden, all that stuff really changed the lay of the land. And I think that while I, like you, prefer the Brendan O'Brien mixes, I think that there was something kind of big and arena rock about all that verb, but it was still the Seattle sound underneath it that hadn't come out of that band yet, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I think it helped transition,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and part of it is just nostalgia. When you listen
Sure.
to that version of it, you're going to think the things you thought back then, you're going to remember those things. So
Absolutely.
it definitely, it definitely does make a difference, which one you listen to. But,
Yeah.
and it's, I kind of, I hate when people say, they want bass mixed into And Justice for All, because that album, one of the reasons I love it is because of the way it sounds.
Yeah, I agree, man.
If it
It's
had
my
bass
favorite,
added
my
in,
favorite Metallica record.
yeah, me too. So, but I feel the opposite with 10.
Sure.
my opinion. I definitely prefer the Redux version.
Absolutely. All right, last email. We've got Neil. Yes, this is the last email. Neil Hansen, I believe he just wrote us today, actually.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, Brad and Brad, discovered the show thanks to Metal Up Your Podcast." Another one from Metal Up Your Podcast. Listen to the first 2 episodes. Love it so far. Have to watch Single Video Theory before I listen to episode 3. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm 46, got into Pearl Jam in the summer of 91. I'm a metal guy too, seriously. So Alive didn't really grab me, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
But the local alternative station played Even Flow and I was hooked. I know you said the single came out April 6th, 92, but they played it a lot earlier because I saw them in May 92 and I had 10 for a while. That's interesting. I need to look that up. They were my gateway into alternative music. Had listened to nothing but rock, hair metal, and metal up to that point, but been fortunate enough to see them 12 times, and he listed all of them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
He saw them twice in San Francisco, one in 92, one in 06. It looks like, oh my God, Mountain View, California in 92, 94, 2000, 2003, twice in 2003. San Jose, California, 93 and 95. Sacramento in 98. Knoxville, Tennessee, that's random, in 98. And then Oakland, California in 2013. From Neil Hansen.
Yeah,
Vancouver, Washington.
I actually responded to him asking, that random Knoxville just thrown in there just in the middle of all these Cali dates. I was wondering.
I was wondering the same thing.
So, but I mean, we literally, it was like an hour ago. So
yeah, right.
Hit us up, Neil.
Absolutely. And then I just want to do a quick mention of some of the peeps on the forum and Reddit that have communicated with us and either said they're going to give us a try or said that they like it or whatever. So from the forum, we've talked to PB11041, Cuts with a Z, New J Page, Two Fane Reluctance, Go Beavers, which is my favorite screen name of all time, Spiritual Chaos. Thank you guys so much for reaching out. And on Reddit, we've got T-Bone Trouble, Riot Acting, Nerdily _Norwal, Brain of Jim, Hearts and Thoughts, and Tambi257, which reminds me, we've got a couple replies we're going to get to real quick and then get into the episode. Brad posted on our Instagram page, which is I'm going to keep doing that, dude. Podcast Theory on Instagram. He asked what you guys' top 3 is, since we're going to do our personal album rankings tonight. And we've got AC Paxton 1 says, number 1 is No Code, number 2 is Binaural, and number 3 is Versus. We got Perry Brown 76, who is actually a singer-songwriter here in Alabama who kicks ass. I have a radio show here on Birmingham Mountain Radio, kick-ass radio station, and I play probably too much, especially one of his songs. I think I end our show with his song probably twice a month. But so check him out. And then there is, I think I'm saying this right, Tambi 257. Her number 1 is 10. Number 2 is Versus. Number 3 is Vitology. She says this will come back later, but in parentheses, she says, it always amazes me that anyone could not have 10 in their top 3. It's perfection from start to finish. I agree that it is a great album. So thanks, you guys, for your replies. All right, dude. Here we go. Brad and Brad's album rankings for Pearl Jam.
Can we talk about Facebook real quick?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it.
I've got a couple people on Facebook. We got a bunch of views and likes, and just a shout out to all the people that liked the Single Podcast Theory page on Facebook.
Sure.
I think Kurt. We talked about Kurt. He was on there a couple times, and let's see here. Just had a couple people like you were just talking about the top 3 albums.
Right.
Let's see here. Azu Vetter Rod. She's got Yield, Binaural, and 10, which those are. I'm up there with those.
Yeah, man.
And Matt Summers put No Code, Binaural, and Verses. Again,
right
three great ones. So, and Matt also commented, great work so far. Hope to hear an episode on the side projects at some point. And that's something we've talked about. We do want to talk about all of the Mother Love Bone and Mad Season and just all the different
Temple
stuff.
of the Dog, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
Shit.
So, but I wanted to throw the Facebook stuff out there too.
Absolutely, man. I love the Facebook love. Yeah. I think I've been off of Facebook for, I don't know, years now.
Yeah.
I just had to leave.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid I might have to
You might have to jump back in.
What's that?
I say you might have to jump back in.
Well, just on our page.
With me and all the housewives.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'm not going to do my personal page. I'm a much happier human being without the Facebook personally. But it'd be cool to be able to look at our Facebook page. So
yeah.
Everyone, thank you so much. Keep them coming. We'll keep talking about them on the air. And again, let's see if I can get all these right. Instagram is at Single Podcast Theory. Twitter is at Pearl Jam Podcast. Facebook, you can search Single Video Theory, and then YouTube as well.
It's Single Podcast Theory on Facebook.
Single Podcast Theory. This is going to be the end of it.
We're going to have like a swear jar.
I know, right?
For video theory.
Well, speaking of swear jars, let's get into these, man.
Yeah, we
see
might
what
hear
the people think about our personal rankings of the albums.
Yeah, we might get some swears on some of these.
So, you ready to you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay, so we're going to go from we're doing all 10 records, and we're going to go from quote unquote least favorite to favorite.
Yeah, this is not to say that I don't like any of these. I love all these albums, and this was like mental gymnastics trying to figure out, which one of my kids I love more.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
I don't know that there's any other band for me personally that to do this exercise would be this hard.
Yeah. No,
I seriously had 2 scraps of paper, and I just made a list of all the records and would like place them in the 1 through 10 and mark them out. And then I was like, no, that's not right. I think I did like 3 different versions. And even now I'm looking at it going, oh, would I switch those?
Yeah, this might change before the episode's over.
Possibly.
Yeah, I put all the CDs out on the table and just was mixing them, and it was not simple to do this.
Not at all. Because there's not really, there's obviously records I don't like as much.
Right.
But Pearl Jam doesn't have like a fucking turd record.
No, I don't think so either. It's not a Saint Anger, situation.
Exactly.
Where
sure.
So, but it's in what makes it hard is there are some songs on my lower album ranking that I fucking love.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But when I sit and think of this certain album from start to finish, that's kind of how I try to do it. So I guess let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
I have number 10, Backspacer.
All right.
Number 9, Lightning Bolt.
Okay.
Number 8 is the Avocado, self-titled Pearl Jam, however you want to say it.
Sure.
Number 7 is Riot Act.
All right.
Number 6, Binaural. Number 5 is Verses. And then number 4 is Vitalogy. And then my top 3 which I might get some stuff for these next two, but 10 is number 3 and Yield is number 2. I'm sorry, not 10. Yeah. Dude, you might have to edit this real quick.
We're not going to edit it. What's your number 3?
Number three is 10.
Okay.
Number 2 is Yield.
Okay.
Number 1, if you couldn't figure it out, is No Code.
Yeah, we've already said it like 5 times
Yeah, exactly.
on every episode.
I wrote 10 as number 3 and then 10 for number 1. I don't know what I was thinking, and that got me all fucked up. So...
Okay, so let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So, number 1's easy. For both of us, it's No Code, right?
Yeah.
But you have... Let me remember your list, because I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
You have 10 at number 3,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
And Yield at number
Yes.
2. That totally
Yes.
makes sense. So,
Dude, those two right there were fucking killing me.
the number 2 and 3 spot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the same thing. For,
I mean, No Code was easy, but I'm like, 10 is the fucking titan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 is just, I mean, I'm sure that's probably a lot of people's favorite album.
sure.
And it's
And for good reason.
right. I mean, that's the, I think we talked about it on last week's episode. That isn't 10 their top selling album.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I mean, by a
it's
lot.
gone
And it's-
platinum. I don't know how many times.
13. I think it was 13 times.
Something like that.
But you know, it's just that was hard. That
Yeah.
was really hard. But
Well,
Yield,
let's talk about
Yield
this. Like, why is No Code your favorite? Let's start with that.
man, it sounds a lot different than the first 3. Is for one reason, and I loved that. They tried to do something different and hit it out of the park. And it just, every song on there, just each song sounds different than each other. And then the album as a whole sounds different than the first 3. The first 3 kind of have a similar sound to them, you know?
Right.
But man, No Code came out and was a total departure. And I loved it. And it seemed like that album kind of took them way out of the eyesight of everybody. And I thought that was cool that they did that, you know?
Well, it's that weird kind of snapshot in time because I don't know, man. The band talks about that record like, I mean, I think it was during the those long interviews that they did for Lightning Bolt. I believe it was Mike talking about how they constantly get fans saying that No Code's their favorite record, and that kind of blows their mind because that was such a bad time for the band, and they kind of felt like they really missed the mark on the record just in general. Like, that's an album that they don't feel good about.
Right.
And
which is crazy.
And it just shows you, like, when you, I don't know, I feel like I see this a lot with, like, when you create things, it's not just about what you like. It's about giving it to other people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like warts and all, I guess
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think that there's that intangible thing about that record that I don't know. All that kind of comes out in the sound of the record, how they play, the addition of Jack. I think you're getting to listen. It's like listening to or like reading someone's journal or something.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
somehow you can hear that things are unsteady and that they're barely hanging on, and Jeff wants to quit the band, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And there's something that really chaotic and beautiful about what comes out of that, and it's also something that changed the trajectory of the band. And if that was the point where it was the make or break point, that record.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They were either going to figure their shit out and continue to make great records and figure out how they do that, or they were just going to implode, you know?
Yeah.
I think you can hear that in that record.
Well, and it's interesting that, you know, I don't think that album blew up, you know, in any sense. I don't think it was, I don't know if it was considered, you know, a bomb, but I mean,
was.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they needed at the time, you know? And I think that's part of what I love about it. I love that they went in a different direction, that they didn't try to make another 10 or another verses.
Sure.
You know, and some of the songs are just like Hail Hail, the way it sounds. I mean, you might be able to speak to this better than I can, but to me it sounds like it's a live recording.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that feel.
Yeah.
And I can't describe what's going on, but when I listen to it, it sounds like, you know, they just started playing in their garage.
Yep. I mean, I like rougher sounding things.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And then the drums, I mean, Who You Are and In My Tree. I mean, it's just,
oh my God.
You didn't hear anything like that on the previous albums,
no.
you know?
And no one's played In My Tree like, you know, I'm not trying to single out old Matt Cameron here, but no one has played In My Tree like Jack.
Yeah,
ever,
definitely.
you know. What else you got, man? So you said Yield number 2?
Yes.
Cool. I love that record.
Yeah.
Where did you put Lightning Bolt again? Number 9?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it so far down on the list for you?
Man, I think it suffers from just being so new,
Okay.
you know, that I haven't had enough time to live with it like the rest of these albums.
Right.
So
you put Avocado in front of Lightning Bolt?
yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I did.
Interesting. Where was Riot Act for you?
Riot Act is number 7.
Okay, cool. Right
And
on.
that is, I'll tell you what, that that one would have been farther down, but it's got one of my favorite songs ever.
Which is one?
Save
What?
You.
Oh, dude.
You know?
So killer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we go to mine?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. I'm probably going to be a lot more talky, if that's okay. I feel like I got a lot to say here.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This is my least favorite to favorite, top, or the records in order. So for me, the Avocado self-titled is number 10. Backspacer is number 9. Here we go. At number 8 is 10.
What? Dude.
Number 7 is Riot Act. Number 6 is Lightning Bolt. Number 5 is Binaural. Number 4 is Versus. Number 3 is Yield. Number 2 is Vitology. And of course, number 1 is No Code.
Yeah.
What you think about that, bud?
Dude. I'll be taking submissions for a new partner on this.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
No. That's just insane.
Well,
I mean,
I just had to take a sip of coffee to get ready for.
Yeah. How
It's
do you have 10 under? I mean,
Well, here's the thing, man. I had to think about this list and decide which kind of direction I wanted to approach it with. Is this my personal kind of like internal list just for myself, or is this kind of like almost like a critic would look at a
Right.
band's discography, and they would be different lists if I did it that way.
yeah,
you know?
I thought about that. We never talked about that, but I did think about that.
That's true. And
that
if I
aspect.
was looking at it like a critic, man, 10 would have to, if not the top, it'd have to be up there, just
Yeah.
because, it's the thing. That's the thing that kind of blasted them out there, and it's very important. And it doesn't, see, that's the other thing is like making this list is like, there's not this huge difference between number 1 and number 2. It's not like No Code I just fucking love, and then I guess number 2 is going to be Vitology. That was really hard. Like number 2 and 3 was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Like they're almost interchangeable, Vitology and Yield. Like,
Right.
Man, there's such different records. It's really hard to compare some of these records because that's one of the things I love about this band is like you go through each one and there is some identifying feature that is different about each one of them. Even though I would say out of the 10, 6 of the 10 were produced by Brendan O'Brien, the same producer, and he mixed, I think, almost all their records.
Mm-hmm.
And still you get this different sound and different vibe from each one,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
but
that makes it
Riot
really
Act?
hard. It's just for me that if I'm going to look through my albums or my, on my iPhone or whatever, like 10's usually not the one I go to.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to it for 25 years,
Yeah.
I can see that.
I've sucked the marrow out of that fucking record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, this is a, least favorite of favorite, but fuck, man, I still think, here's the funny thing too, this podcast or getting ready for it has changed my opinion about some certain records. Like, yes, Avocado, I put that at number 10.
Right.
And I used to say that was their turd record. Like,
oh, wow.
Fuck that record. I hated that record. And over the last 6 months, it's changed for me.
Yeah.
It's still probably, it's not going to be the record that I put on start to finish, but there's definitely songs on there like Comatose and Army Reserve, and even the single stuff like Life Wasted, Worldwide Suicide. It's great shit, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But no,
that's how I feel about Riot Act. Like when Riot Act first came out, I was not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
But the more I've listened to it, just trying to, getting ready for this, and over the last couple years, it's definitely grown on me.
Sure.
But it's a lot more, that one album is a lot more mellow than any of their other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more organic. It's a lot more, I don't know how to put it. There's a really, it's a really dark sounding record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one that was produced by, I believe it was, what's his name? Adam Casper.
Yeah.
He did, God, which records did he do? Let me look at, he did that one. They were right next, yeah, he did that. Didn't he do that and the self-titled? I think he did.
Grab it here.
You guys can, correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, for the self-titled and for Riot Act, that was no Brendan O'Brien right there.
Right.
And if you've listened to the other episodes, you know that I consider Brendan O'Brien kind of like a band member. Not just because his production and mixing is so crucial to how that band sounds or translating how they sound. Because that's a very hard thing to do, to take a live band that's known for their live performances and to capture that in a small studio. Even if it's a big studio, it's small compared to a 20,000 seat amphitheater arena. Right. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I still love Riot Act. I mean, Love Boat Captain, You Are.
You Are is just
dude.
Fucking. I mean, I probably like You Are more than Save You.
Yeah.
But that is a delay. Is that what his guitar?
He's got this weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's this box. It's like a kind of like a sampler. It's hard to describe off the top of my head, but you can program an instrument to go through it, whether it's a guitar or a synth or whatever. Almost, you treat it almost like a guitar pedal.
Yeah.
And you can build in these like random kind of algorithms that kind of, what that one does is almost like, it's called a tremolo. So like on guitar, I have a tremolo pedal on my pedal board, which is that kind of womp, 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 womp kind of thing.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And you can control how fast and how deep that in and out is.
Yeah.
Except for, it operates like that, except for it does it like on a tempo based on what you're playing. So you can't program it. Like, that's what's amazing about them pulling that song off live, is that they, as far as I can tell anyway, well, I know there's no way they play to a click or a metronome live. They play some of the songs so fucking fast.
Right.
But they have to, on that song live, Stone is the drummer, meaning Matt Cameron has to follow Stone. And usually it's the other way around. Usually the rest of the band is playing to the drummer, right?
Yeah.
So he speeds up, you speed up. But they all have to lock in without any kind of metronome to Stone's guitar part, which I think is fucking badass.
Yeah.
For me, No Code, it's how raw it sounds. I feel like I can hear the tension in the record, even though I didn't know at the time that was what was going on. It just kind of, it just exudes out of that record. There's
Yeah.
just some sort of tension and you know, the way it was captured in the recordings, I feel like it's perfect. I mean, you go down that list, for me anyway, of the songs, and it's just like, come on. Like, Hail, Hail, In My Tree, motherfucking Present Tense. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, Red Mosquito. Off he goes, Smile. I love Smile. I love that song.
Yeah, Smile and Around the Bend are I mean, they're almost like lyrically like lullabies.
Yeah, so
You know?
good.
And Smile is definitely I think a product of their Mirrorball stuff with Neil Young.
Absolutely. Well, and
And
that's the whole thing too, is like, at the time, because of them, I was getting into Neil Young, you know?
Right.
And that record, you can hear that influence, you know?
Yeah.
Again, it's another one of the records that's kind of a
And just,
snapshot in time.
I mean, every single song sounds different than the next one. I mean, sometimes it's really slow. Hail Hell just kicks your ass.
Lucan, Habit? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, for me, maybe let's talk for a minute about the differences in our list. I mean, I have Lightning Bolt at number 6, almost in my top 5. And even though it's the newest record, it's 4 years old now? Came out
that's
2013. I think I feel like Lightning Bolt is the record that they were trying to write through Backspacer and Self-Titled.
Yes.
I feel like there's a progression there, and that's why those two records. I love Backspacer. I'm kind of digging Self-Titled, but they're very similar, and it sounds like a journey that ends up in Lightning Bolt for me.
Yeah.
The songwriting is so much stronger.
I don't love Backspacer.
Right.
I mean, again, I love all these albums, you know, because they're all Pearl Jam, and I listen to pretty much every single song when I listen to the album.
Yeah.
But there's something about Backspacer that just, I don't know if it's, it just sounds like, maybe this isn't a bad thing. It sounds like they're having too much fun.
It is kind of an up record.
Yeah,
it's a little lighter.
It's a little too up for me.
But dude, you got Unthought Known.
Yeah.
What a killer song.
Yeah, but it's surrounded by, Johnny Guitar.
Which I like that song. Gonna See My Friend.
Yeah.
Fixer,
I mean, they're just they're fun. If I'm not in a mood to hear anything particular, I might throw it on.
But you're right. You don't go to Pearl Jam for fun like pop rock songs.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I mean, more power to them. If they had fun making that and writing that stuff, that's awesome. But it's just, it doesn't grab me the way any of these other ones do.
Yeah.
And Lightning Bolt is, for me, I mean, it starts out really good, but man, is it the last 3 songs?
Yeah.
Are just, dude,
I'm
metal,
either.
dude. I'm metal.
I know.
I got to rock.
Yeah, and I like singer-songwriter like acoustic stuff, man. But those last 3 just don't fit. What is it? Yellow Moon and
Sleeping by Myself. Yeah, and then Future Days. It ends on Future Days. And I mean, I Future Days is one of those that, because there's a few songs that I just was like not into, and then I go see them in concert, like Pendulum. Pendulum was just like, oh come on, this song. But man, they opened with it in Memphis.
I love that song.
I do too now. It's like, I got it. It's something happened. It just, on the record, it's right in the middle, and I'm kind of like, whatever with this song. But then when they opened with it, it's such a perfect song for them to open with. I love when they open with these slow ones.
Yeah,
just to set the mood.
Those. But
and
even that
Pendulum
just kind of
perfect.
represents, and I think this is a good thing. I love this, the different kind of fans that we are, and what we're going to find out about the people that listen to the show. Like, for me, Pendulum and Infallible were I was like, oh God. I put those songs on a repeat when I first got the record.
Right.
To this day, I love Getaway and Mind Your Manners and My Father's Son. I love Lightning Bolt, the song. I think Swallowed Whole is great. I think Let the Records Play is a kick-ass different kind of song for them. They've never done that kind of song, that obviously blues. Like Stone doesn't write bluesy shit,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But he's got that drop tune riff going that's just kind of the stomp, the swagger, you know?
Right.
I don't know, man. I just feel like the songwriting is really super strong on that record. And for me, like everything that's after it, like Riot Act, we'll leave 10 out of that because that's... I mean, that's the thing. It's number 8 on my list, but it's an insane record. I just don't ever go back to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Riot Act, there's some great songs on there. I feel like you can tell that they're working with a new producer on that record. Mm-hmm. That's just how it feels. Like, they had such a thing going.
Yeah,
with
it's
Brendan.
just I don't know. Riot Act I go back and forth with Riot Act.
I definitely have to be in the mood for Riot Act.
Yeah, exactly. But it just feels, I don't know, like clunky, and
yeah,
I don't know.
Eddie's lyrics. I don't know if this is part of what you're trying to say. Like it sounds like he's notorious for kind of like coming up with lyrics, you know, either on the fly or they have to wait on him until kind of the muse hits.
Right.
But maybe not even the lyrics, but the vocals on that record always strike me as the band wrote music without him there, which I know isn't the case, but how it sounds to me is the band wrote music. He came in with lyrics on a piece of paper and just sang them as he was reading them. They don't feel kind of crafted like so many of the other songs that they've written do.
Kind of thrown together, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But again, there's amazing songs on that record. I mean, again, like this is a band where I just don't feel like there's a turd.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But I mean, I think the obvious ones. I'm just going to make some predictions. Mm-hmm. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that love 10.
Oh yeah.
And Vitalogy versus, I think, are definitely going to be way up there.
Right.
I think No Code is a very specific thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, 10 versus Vitalogy, those three are going to be high up on most people.
Yeah. Which is understandable. I mean, it's like Vitalogy, like, has a lot of my favorite Pearl Jam songs, like Last Exit. Trimmer Christ is one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's got Spin the Black Circle, Not For You.
Not For You and Corduroy.
Corduroy. I mean, probably like, I think that's in the top 10 of their most played songs live.
Yeah.
Corduroy is.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of their top 20 comes off of, of Vitalogy versus and 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when I think of Vitalogy, it's, to me, I think of like that was their peak of like radio hits.
Yeah.
You know, Corduroy and Not For You were huge songs.
Yeah, and if you look at the transition between Vitalogy to Yield, like the Vitalogy was the death of that period of Pearl Jam. That versus Vitalogy period. And then it's like they had to regroup. Well, I guess maybe No Code is kind of the death in a weird way, you know? That was them, even though it's my favorite record, that was them finding their way to Yield, kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's No Code is very much a bridge between you know, this, and obviously it was the song in between these albums, but I mean those first three have a very similar sound, the grunge sound.
Yeah.
And then No Code is just totally different. And then Yield is like getting back to what they originally sounded like, but a little more polished. Right,
yeah, right.
Right.
But still really loose at the same time.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yield,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why No Code and Yield are my top two.
Yeah.
You know?
Man. Well, yeah, again, my 2 and 3, which are Vitalogy and then Yield, are so interchangeable.
Right.
Like, if you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said Yield was number 2. But I think right now I've just been digging into Vitalogy so much that I had to put it in there. Anyway, don't want to bore you. Hopefully this hasn't been boring to listen to, our top 10 rankings. But obviously one of the reasons for doing this is to kind of let you guys know where we come from as far as how we, I don't know, perceive and listen to the band and what we kind of gravitate towards. I mean, obviously, I think we both, maybe it's because we have a kind of like a background in metal, you know, kind of tend towards the more raw, kind of heavier stuff. Like, I'd much rather listen to, personally, I'd rather listen to something like Last Exit or Hail Hail over, I don't know, Jeremy. But Jeremy's fucking awesome.
Right.
But I just tend towards that kind of stuff. And Binaural, I think, I love that record.
Yeah,
but
I do too.
anyway, I mean,
Even though
Breakerfall
it's hard to. I mean, Binaural's number 6 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
But it could easily be 4 or 5.
Sure.
It's that is such a great album. But again, I go back to, well, how do I put it above Vitalogy or Versus?
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, I'm not trying to be non-committal with my list or my answers. It's just, it's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
These are great records.
Yeah. For me, it was kind of easy in the sense that, okay, I could take 10 through Binaural, and that's my top 6.
Right.
And then the last 4 albums, I can put those, that's like 1 and 2. But to split them each up into a certain order was really, really difficult.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to hear responses from everyone. Please email us your rankings of the Pearl Jam discography. Obviously, we're just dealing with the actual official studio records, the 10 records they have out.
Yeah, we
gotta
get
put out
into
another record soon.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it's coming, but
I don't either.
Yeah, God.
But if they tour, I'll take a tour.
Absolutely, man. I'm way overdue seeing them live again. So
yeah. It's been a while, right?
A long time, like 15
long.
years.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
come on.
I missed out on so much those years as a touring musician because I was always on a tour bus going
right
from fucking city to city. It's not like I could stop at couldn't go to shows, man.
Right. Yeah.
It's like for a long time. I've still never seen Metallica. I did get to see Nirvana.
Really?
Yeah. They came to Birmingham.
I never saw them.
Yeah, they came to Birmingham I feel like it was like 2 months before he committed suicide. But,
yeah.
Or it was within the year, I think. But,
wow.
Once I hit like 2021 when I started touring, that's kind of when the live thing stopped happening for me. I don't know. It's sad. I want to get back to seeing some shows. But you and I are going to make a little trip together.
Yeah.
Gonna go see Let's Play 2 in Nashville.
I'm super excited about that.
Absolutely. And just for some context here, this will be the first time we meet.
Yeah.
We've never been in person talking to each other before.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be badass, man. All right, so send us your list, people. What'd you say?
I just said, oh.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh my God, Brad and Brad. It's like Brad Squared. You guys are so cute.
Yeah, a friend of mine was listening to the show, and she messaged me that if we were sitting in the same room, we'd probably be making the lovey-dovey eyes at each other. And I thought...
Well, I did text you today and call you Sweet Toots.
Yeah.
So,
Sugar.
And
Hey,
I loved
Sugar.
your response. You go, you're like, you laughed and you're like, was that for me?
Yeah.
And then ended it with like a kissy face.
Right.
That's the thing, man. We're still getting to know each other, and we just realized that we both used to listen to the Jerky Boys, man.
Yeah.
My name's Saul Rosenberg. I went to the Empire State Building and I couldn't see, God damn it.
What does he say? Oh God!
Saul?
Now I'm blanking.
Oh,
I'm blanking on all of them.
I'll bring all my glasses and my shoes, so I'll have them.
I was hurt at work today. Sue
God.
everybody.
Man,
you want to sue me?
I can't believe. Yeah, man, I haven't listened to them forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, off of the Jerky Boys. So send us your lists at singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com. You can hit us up. All the social media shit. You know what it is. Instagram. The handle is at single. I almost said video again.
I know.
Single podcast theory.
I was listening.
I know, dude. You got to check me on this shit. God, I've been cussing a lot. This. I'm just so excited and nervous. Anyway,
I know.
What did I miss? Oh yeah, Twitter at Pearl Jam Podcast. You can listen to our episodes on YouTube if you don't prefer Apple Podcasts.
Oh yeah, shout out to all the YouTube subscribers.
I know,
I was
right?
really,
I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I keep getting, notifications. We have another subscriber on YouTube, and I think we both talked about it before. Like, you don't realize that people use YouTube, I guess, for podcasts.
Yeah, I've never done that before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess that's it, dude.
All right. Another one in the books.
Yeah, man. So another thing, be looking on social media. We'll be letting you know what the subject of the next episode is going to be, which I'm excited about. So, yeah, I guess you're not too excited about it based on your list, but it is going to be another album episode. So we're going to dig into one of their albums, but we'll see how that goes. But thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for all the support for the first week that we've been doing this. And we're going to keep working hard for you guys and make a good podcast for the fans. So
definitely.
Thanks, Brad. I can't wait to meet you, Brad.
I know, dude. You're going to get a big bear hug. So
Hell
just be
yes.
ready.
I'm known for my hugs, dude.
Oh, cool. All right.
This is going to be like hug explosion.
Yeah.
I dig it. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Please don't
what'd you say?
Please don't say hug explosion. I'll hug you, but let's not go there.
Does it make you feel funny?
It brings up some weird imagery. So
we'll leave that for after we hit stop on this record. So. Yeah. All right. This is Brad Lyons.
This is Brad Blazek.
And we're signing off. See you next week. Peace.
Thanks.
I died and you just I died and you walked by and said no, I'm dead.